Okay, all right.
Very good.
You're all
Up
good.
and down.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And I'm still logged in, so I can let people in and out. That's fine.
Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Maybe we'll wait just a minute. Wait, someone else comes in. Okay. Have you done the contract clause yet? No? Fantastic. You have a pen, then you're all set. Ready to go.
May I fill out?
Absolutely. And that
no
would be the
sign.
best. Yeah.
Okay.
And that would give you pointers for home too. You could just grab it and use it as a sample. Probably I think there are. I use this one.
Yeah.
Just All right, so we have a number of agents online. Thank you for coming. We're gonna get started and whoever jumps in, we're just gonna get rolling. So those of you who are watching from home or from the car, if you can grab a real estate contract, a blank one, it will be helpful for you and you can start filling it out. So on top of the contract, we'll be discussing all the addendums. I have a list of them here, but we're gonna go over them one by one. So this is the first page of the contract, which is called the notice, or those who have been in real estate for a long time, we also call it opinion 26. This is where you check your relationship with the buyer. So if you're only representing the buyer and your company does not represent the seller, you will check the box for the buyer, not the seller. Now, if you make an offer on a property that is listed by your own company, Keller Williams Park Views, then you'll be representing both the seller and the buyer.
Oh.
You'll be checking that box,
Okay.
even if the seller is not represented by you.
Mhm.
That's because the broker represents all sellers and all buyers.
Okay.
So if that's within the same brokerage, make sure you properly check the right box.
How about the different branch, like the park in City View?
You could use different brokerage,
Okay.
different broker.
Okay.
So we're strictly talking about Keller Williams Park Views.
Okay.
If you make an offer that is listed by Keller Williams Park Views, you're gonna check both the seller and the
Okay.
buyer. Otherwise, you're checking the buyer, not the seller. And then make sure you put your name at the bottom as you're preparing the contract. And your buyer will sign and you will sign under selling broker. And then moving forward, this is the information page for seller and buyer.
Good.
All good?
Yeah.
Oh, everything's good. Thanks, Ron. So you'll be filling out the buyer's name. If it's husband and wife buying together, both their names will be listed here. If they're buying under an LLC, you're gonna list the LLC, their current address. You'll fill out the same for the seller. Please don't put in as per MLS or as per tax records. The attorney wants to see the actual name of the seller. So if the listing says, as per listing agent, either call the listing agent or go onto the tax records and see what this says. And please make sure you fill out the actual name of the person who lives at the property. If it's an estate, you're gonna say estate of. If it's a company or an LLC, you're gonna say 123 Main Street LLC, whatever the tax records say. And then fill out their address. And then line 36, you're gonna fill out the property address that you're making the offer on. Okay. Make sure you put in the line 38, the tax map of the town, the county, the block and lot number, which you can find on the contract. On the tax records and on the listing.
Excellent.
Now, as far as purchase price, it's really simple, but some agents still struggle with it. The total price they're paying for the property is gonna be your first line, total purchase price. If they're offering 500,000, the 500,000 will go right there. For initial deposit, you're gonna put 0. We are not taking initial deposits at all. That used to be the $1,000 or $5,000 deposit the buyer would give right at the time of signing the contract, and we don't do that anymore. The additional deposit will be your 3%, 5%, 10%, or 20%. So here I put $100,000, which is 20% of 500. And then my buyers here are taking a mortgage of $350. So the 100,000 and 350 add up to 450 in total. That means they have a balance at purchase of $50,000 that will be at closing. All right, I hope that's very clear for everyone. And then on the next page, we're gonna detail all the dates that all the payments are due. So number 1, initial deposit, line 52, will be left absolutely blank because our clients are not, yeah, not that one, the first one, line 52, all of that is 52. Okay. That we're gonna leave blank, they're not doing initial deposit. The field for additional deposit must be filled out. If you don't fill it out, automatically the 10 days will kick in. That is pre-filled on the contract. So try to figure out how much time you'll take for attorney review and give about 10 days after that for the deposit to be due. 10 days, 2 weeks is okay. And then following along, the escrow always goes to the seller's attorney. So your buyer might give that check to the buyer's attorney, and the buyer's attorney will make a copy of it and forward it over to the seller's attorney. And the seller's attorney will hold the money in escrow. And then the mortgage information is super important. So make sure your principal amount on line 75 is the same as you put on the front page of the contract. 350,000, 350,000. And here you're going to specify the type of mortgage, whether it's a veterans loan, an FHA, a conventional, a 203K renovation loan, or any other. So make sure you check in the box. If you don't know what that is, check your buyer's pre-approval letter. And it will be very, very clear on that, what kind of mortgage they're getting. And then the term of mortgage, it could be 10 years, 15 years, 30 years. Most common is a 30-year mortgage on a 30-year schedule, but that will also be listed right on the pre-approval letter. And then for a written mortgage commitment, I don't want you to be guessing on what that date will be. I want you to pick up the phone and call the mortgage lender and just say, when do you think we'll have mortgage commitment by? Because that will also dedicate when you can close on the property. And you want to be truthful on that date. So if the lender says, I'm gonna need 30 days, I already worked with these people, they have everything I need, and I have everything from them, I have their pay stubs, I have their W-2s, I have their tax returns, and we're good to go, you're fine. But if they're just starting their mortgage process and they haven't seen any documentation from them, it's gonna take 45 to 60 days just to run through the mortgage. So that's not a date for you to guess on. I'd rather you pick up the phone and call the mortgage lender and get that date from them. And then the closing date, a quick tip for you, call the listing agent and see what is good for the seller. And then talk to your buyer and see if you can make that happen with your buyer. The better your contract is, be easier for the seller to go for your closing date. It's not always the highest offer that takes the best contract. Sometimes it's the terms and sometimes it's the closing date. So be clear on that and just get some tips from the listing agent. We're gonna move over to included and excluded in the sale of the property. So line 108 and line 115 are asking you to fill that out. So if you look in the New Jersey MLS, the section that I highlighted here lists the items included and items not included, the one before the last line. So whatever the MLS says, those will be the items that you'll transfer right onto the contract. So here it says light fixtures and appliances are included. So we put that right in the included box. And items excluded, personal property, we put that in the excluded box. Now, if there's anything in addition to what's listed in the MLS that you talk to the buyer and seller about and they agreed, feel free to put it right here on the contract. Because at closing, if you have any issues of what was left of the property and what's missing, the attorney will go back to the contract, not to the listing, to see what was included and not included. All right, so it's super important you fill it out.
This is the closing date they looking.
Yeah, so
Uh,
if it says light fixtures are included or blinds or even chandeliers are big.
Okay.
If you have chandeliers all over the house and maybe they're just taking the dining room chandelier, that should be listed on items excluded.
If something missing that day, like the pool cover, yeah, we have to find out after we move. Is past everything?
If it's missing and you're sitting at the closing table.
No, after we find it. The closing day, we are not thinking. Our customer not thinking.
Too late.
Too late,
After the closing,
too late, yes.
You gotta get
That-
that all
They
settled at
have
the
to be
closing.
that day.
Yes, that's why you have a walkthrough.
How about, the lease pick the run for the lease back? Lease back, in closing,
Right.
but
It's a
the
different issue
seller,
because they're staying at the property.
this is the
You're gonna have
seller.
another walkthrough before they take possession.
Oh,
You'll have a closing, but you'll have another walkthrough before they actually move in. So
oh,
sometimes if you have a good attorney, they'll have escrow money held back until they actually move in.
escrow money.
Yep.
Oh,
The attorney will hold some in escrow to make sure everything goes smoothly,
okay,
even with the lease back. And they also have a security deposit for that reason.
oh,
Okay?
around how much money they put down?
It
the
depends on the attorney, and it depends on the parties. If they're very difficult to work with, I mean, they
Okay.
usually find out the amount will be higher. If
Okay,
they're easy to work with and everyone agrees on everything, it's gonna be a much lesser amount,
oh, okay,
okay?
okay,
All right.
that time is the attorney to put down the
Yes.
effort.
Correct.
Okay,
The attorney will review all of that.
okay,
Absolutely.
okay.
All right, new as of in February 2022, a new section was added on line 37.
Mhm.
Where the buyer can select their own closing agent, and that is a title company. That can be the attorney and it can be another party. But since we have a relationship with Carnegie Title, it's best just to put Carnegie Title right on that line. And that will alert your attorney to choose Carnegie Title to work with. You also need to talk to your client, that they
Okay.
understand the relationship we have with Carnegie Title
Mhm.
and that they want to work with Carnegie
Okay.
Title.
If they ask us do you have different title
Yes.
company?
You should suggest a couple different
Okay.
ones as well.
Okay.
Or they can pick their own that they worked with before
Okay.
if they want to.
Mhm.
But you can tell them with Carnegie, we have a good relationship, and if anything goes wrong or any questions come up,
Mhm.
you can get in touch with them within a
Okay.
couple of minutes,
Okay.
and it just makes for a smoother transaction.
Okay,
Line 151, section 10, municipal assessments. So this is kind of a weird question here because we represent the buyer, not the seller. So I always suggest that you check that there has been no assessments against the seller unless it says on the MLS listing that there are municipal assessments. So make sure you look and check And if there has not been any, just check there has not been any. Now the seller is supposed to read the contract right on the top line,
Mhm.
151. Seller is supposed to read the contract and make the change if they have any assessments against them. So hopefully there isn't. Then the next page, we're gonna go to line 181. It's asking you to fill in what kind of family residence it is. So you're just gonna put in single family. If you're doing the contract for a multi-family, then make sure you put 181, that line right there. So you can put single or two family or
This is
four
the
family.
186 that we are showing.
Okay, it's possible that on the new contract,
Okay.
it might be a little different number, so my apologies if it doesn't line up exactly, but the family residence is there. So just make sure you put
How
it
about
in
the two families, something, we
there.
put
So you
the
put
two.
two, correct,
Or-
two family, if it's a four family, you put four family. Exactly, so the attorney knows what kind of property they're purchasing.
Okay.
And then when you get to tenancies, 12B, if it's applicable, make sure you fill out the tenant's name, where they live. Clearly, it's gonna be the same address, but there could be separate units, what the rent is that they're paying, what security deposit is held,
Mhm.
and what terms there are. So the term is, they really wanna know their end date, or if the term is 30 days or month to month,
Okay.
that's what you would put
How
there.
about the month to month? We put the month to month.
Month to month, yeah, then the term will be month to month. Now, why do you think that is important? For the attorney to know if there's a tenant in there or not?
Oh, because it's something, that we give you money or we waiting to money.
Also, that the premises need to be delivered empty without a tenant,
Oh.
right? And if their term goes beyond the closing date, the lease cannot be broken. The
Oh,
tenant stays until their lease is over
Yes.
and then they need to move out. So the lease that they have will override the contract
okay,
because the tenant has the right to stay at their complete lease.
okay.
Okay,
If
so
we want the higher rent, if possible.
yeah, if the new owner wants to give them an increased rent,
Yeah,
when he becomes the owner, he can do that when the lease renews.
okay.
So the
That
lease
time.
is correct. He's taking over the lease as is. And once the lease has expired,
We can tell them that if possible, I wanted the rent, like right now is the 160, but I wanted the 230. Right now is that house is the more wanted. Is possible?
okay, yes, it is. As
If-
long as it's within market value, they can ask for a higher rent.
We can tell them that time
We
we
can
are
tell them
wanted.
then, yes, yes,
Because we don't want a headache and the tenant has to be, the 6 month
Yeah.
early.
yes, absolutely. The sooner you notify, the better.
Okay.
Absolutely, and make sure that notification is in writing. And then at the bottom of this page, we have lead paint. Hazard, just check applicable if you have lead paint, if the property was built prior to 1978, or not applicable if you don't have a lead paint form filled out.
Okay. This is something new coming.
Right here, lead paint law inspection. So this is a new law that started in July of 2022. This is for landlords.
Mhm.
That if they have a property that they own, that they use for rental,
Mhm.
every 2 years, they need to conduct a lead paint inspection.
Oh,
So if someone is purchasing a property and wants to use it as an investment property and turn it around and rent it out, this section will notify them that they have to conduct inspection.
how about before the rent to July 2020 is not effective?
No, not affected. All properties that were built after 1978 are not affected. They don't have to conduct inspections. Okay, so just make sure you share that with your buyer and make sure that they know about it. Then the property goes into basic inspection timeline. So the contract already gives some pre-filled sections line 247 on the screen, if you look, seller shall have some days to conduct, to get the receipt for inspection. If left blank, it will automatically put in 3. It won't be filled out, but the attorney will revert it as 3 days. Same at line 250. You can fill it out if you want more days for your buyer or your seller to have enough time, but you don't have to fill it out.
Okay, if you put down a different date, it
Right.
can't possible.
Correct. And then point of entry system is, we don't have that really in Northern New Jersey. You don't have to worry about it. Number 15, cesspool requirements. Most of our area is not applicable.
If we something miss, we always put down the not applicable.
Correct. If you don't know, you can ask the seller, is this applicable, not applicable? If they say, no, I don't have a cesspool, then just say no,
Uh-huh.
all the way around. And then more inspection timeline, you can leave it all blank and automatically 14 days will kick in on all these lines and 7 days on the last line. Just be careful with your timeline. So if you're closing within 30 days, then the 14, 14, and 7 days are more than 30 days. So you have to be careful. You might want to change those days to 7, 7, and 7 in order to have enough time to get the inspection report, the seller to respond to the buyer's request. Because once the inspection report is received, then the buyer will have so many days to respond with requests of repairs or credit. And then the seller will have so many days to respond to those requests.
Okay,
And that's very clearly written. And this is why it's important you look at the timeline and then you notify your buyer and seller.
when the inspections date after we have a time for the seller, they fix them or give the credit.
Correct. They don't
If-
have a timeline on the actual fixing, but they have to respond within these days.
We put
So-
down the, if you blank, 14 days,
Yeah.
2 weeks,
Yeah,
they have to do.
they have to respond.
Okay,
Okay, so first of all, when the buyer gets there's a timeline to do inspection.
if
That's
the
the first
date
time.
time is to pass,
If time is fast,
we are
they are in breach
not,
of contract.
oh,
That's very serious. This is why you have to be careful, look at the contract. And also, if the buyer gets a report,
Mhm,
right, and does not respond within the time frame,
mhm,
they're out of the responding period. Now they can't ask for anything,
mhm.
right? Because they ran out of time.
What is the important things is the, what we will do that time. is
It
the-
depends on how much time you have. If your buyer has 60 days to get their mortgage and want to take their time to go through inspections very carefully, you can leave the 14 days because there's enough time to respond.
Okay,
Well, you can narrow it down to 7 to 10 days.
okay.
10 days is pretty normal. It's enough time to review and go over it step by step. Maybe get an estimate of what the repairs look like, what the cost would be. If you have plenty of time.
Which is more need time for the repair side, which is the, be careful, some, the seller need to be more time for the repair. Which part is the house is the more
It
need?
depends on what contractor they can get and how fast.
Uh-huh,
And it depends on the problem. So that you can't really generalize.
uh-huh.
It could be a roof issue. It could be a leakage issue that went through
Oh.
the entire house. So now
Oh.
they're changing the roof and they're making repairs. Now they might need to remove walls because there's mold buildup. I don't know. It really depends on the actual report you're getting.
And-
Foundation will take a while to fix.
Oh,
That will hold up things. If there's anything like mold, radon, water damage, that will be more to fix. If it's something like a chimney inspection and a chimney needs a new liner and a new clean out, it can be done in 1 day.
Okay.
So it depends on the actual problem.
What is the, we can put the maximum day that blank side? The.
You don't wanna do more than 14 days.
No, no,
No. What you see on the contract, that's really the maximum that you should have.
Okay, that is the maximum.
That
then.
should be the maximum, otherwise it's gonna be too much dragged out.
Okay.
So you want, if you can shorten the period of those days, you should. If not, leave it alone,
Mhm.
and automatically the 14 days will kick in. Okay? Wonderful. All right, and after that, there's a lot of sections about airport and airfields and Megan's Law, everything else. Make sure you read it.
We jump to.
Right, I jump a lot. All those don't need to be for that, but they need to be read. Yes, you're gonna have
And
about
only put
3
down the
pages.
English?
Yep,
Okay.
and then you're gonna get to section 29, Declaration of Business Relationship.
Mhm.
And I filled in my information, so the first section, A, is going to be your information. You're gonna put down Keller Williams, Park Views, and my name, and your name as the licensee, don't put my name,
Okay.
okay? And you're gonna check that you're a buyer's agent. Now, here's the trick again, just think about it, if you're selling a property listed by your own agency,
Mhm.
you're gonna have Keller Williams, Park Views,
Mhm.
your own name and the listing agent's name. And you're gonna check disclose dual agent. If you're both working on this, okay? If the company is a different company, you're gonna fill out section B,
Mhm.
which is Nice Realty, and be representing the buyer, the seller, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
So the other company, whatever their name is, you're gonna fill it out as seller's representation. Perfect. And then you'll see this whole beautiful section with more information. So it's gonna be the listing firm's name, real estate license, the agent's name and real estate license. And I always get the question of where do I find that? So here's how you look up someone in the roster. You go to the New Jersey MLS, that's not on your contract.
Could you, back to?
Yes.
I am.
Here you go. So go to the next page, you're right there.
Yeah.
So listing agent will be on top, so you'll take that information from the MLS, right? The bottom of the MLS section will show you on the listing who the listing agent is, who the firm is, their address, phone number, everything. Now, if you don't have their license number, which you have to fill out right there, you go into the MLS and you go to the roster, find members, or you simply click on their number on the MLS. Correct. Also, if you're looking at the listing itself, next to the agent's name, there's a code that is hyperlinked. And when you click on that code, you're gonna get their card like
Okay.
this,
Yeah, I
okay?
saw you.
And on the first column
Mhm.
is agent information. So
Okay.
you'll see the agent's name, what their phone number, email is like, and then you'll take their license number, which is right there, real estate license number. And on the other side, for contact information, you'll see the company information. And then you'll have the company's real estate ID right there. So that's the information you will use for this page. And then at the bottom for buyer, you're gonna fill out participating firm is the buyer's firm.
Mhm.
So you're gonna put your own information, Keller Williams Park Views, your license number, and then your own name and your own license number. The address here, 301 Route 17 North, Rutherford, New Jersey, your phone number, agent cell phone number, your email address. And then you're gonna look on the MLS sheet, print out, and look at the bottom
Mhm.
and see what it says for participating agent commission.
Mhm.
BA commission or TA commission, and put that amount right here.
Okay, I saw some of them is the empty. What does mean? You know,
So
some.
commission is
Yes,
empty,
yeah.
well, no, they can't put a listing up with no commission.
I think it's the
The stuff-
missing.
The sub field is missing, so go with buyer agent commission, and
Okay.
that's what you will get.
Okay, something, you know, do they put them the DCA or something?
The
like-
DCA is dual commission arrangement,
Mhm.
that means they have two different commission arrangements.
Mhm.
If they bring the buyer, the listing agent, then their commission is different than what they're getting.
Okay, not the
Yourself.
50-50. Some of them is the 30.
No, it's not the split. So for example, they'll take a listing at 5%,
Mhm.
right? But they'll say, If I bring you the buyer,
Mhm.
I'll do both sides and I'll take only 4%.
Okay,
That's what the dual commission arrangement means. There are two different commission structures based
Okay.
on who brings the buyer.
okay.
Okay, awesome. All right, we went through this. Then we're gonna get to section point 32. We'll have a disclosure question, if any party, seller or buyer has a real estate license. I just put an example. In my case, I made it applicable. And I put Barbara Brown, the buyer, as a referral agent license. So make sure you put down who it is that has a license and what real estate license they have, broker, salesperson, or referral agent. And the way to check that is number one, ask if anyone has a real estate license, and number two, you can go onto the Real Estate Commission website and check their license status. Okay,
Oh, is somebody referral that house? We put their name?
no, this is not a referral that you get.
Oh,
This is any client,
Mhm,
buyer or seller,
mhm.
if they have a referral, if they have a real estate license. And then you just specify
Oh.
what type of license they have.
Okay, if there's something, buyer has a, agent license.
Correct, yes, because sometimes sellers and buyers do have licenses. And yet they work with someone else to purchase a property.
Okay.
And then-
Put the site is the referral agent? It has to be?
No, that's just an example.
Oh, okay.
Because some agents are purchasing properties and they do have an active license, but it's not in the MLS, but they do have a referral license. It doesn't mean they gave you a referral.
Okay.
That's just their license type. Okay, when you look them up in the Real Estate Commission, it will show you what kind of license they have. All right, and at the end, we get to all of point 42, talks about all the addendums that you might have. So definitely check left bank disclosure if the property was built before 1978. What's missing from here is the waiver of inspection and appraisal, which I would love to see on the contract, so maybe it will be updated later. And then additional provisions, if there's anything else that you want the seller to know regarding your buyer, this is the section where you will put it. So it's very common lately that the buyer would be an inspection contingency. That would go in here and let them know that the buyer will have inspections, but they'll only have it for environmental, structural, and functional inspection only. Which is basically everything, all the major structures. If the buyer is all cash and you want to make sure that they understand, yeah, that would go right there, point 43.
This is what is this, the coronavirus? What is this?
That's the coronavirus addendum.
Uh-huh.
That is what we have all our clients sign. So you have one signed, then you would check the box here.
Okay.
That's an addendum that your buyer actually signed. If you have a buyer who has a property sale contingency, there's an addendum for that. You would check the box and include the addendum with the contract.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go over all the addendums and I'll show you what they look like.
Okay.
Okay? Excellent. Then at the very back,
What you write down the.
sure, go
additional-
ahead, take a picture. Again, if buyer waives inspection contingency, make sure that they sign the waiver of inspection / appraisal form. And also make sure you have a really good conversation about the effect of waiving inspection or appraisal. And definitely put in writing that you suggest that they don't do that. It is your buyer's best interest to have inspection contingency and appraisal contingency. At the very back, make sure all parties sign. So there's room here for 4 signatures for the buyer and 4 for the seller. And the page must be initialed at every single page.
Or this one is the like the for sailor, like the is the father died, the kids you know, the
Yeah.
that one seller.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Okay,
We just had a property where 6 siblings, and we
Okay.
inherited a property.
okay, what we
All
will do
six
is that
must
sign.
be signed. You can add additional signatures. So on the other side, there's room. You're just gonna add buyer. So in our case, it's 6 people buying a property,
Oh,
6
okay.
people selling.
Okay.
And they all have to sign and they all have to initial everything.
How about the, you know, the fathers wanted to buy something, but put down the kid's name, like this, the buyer, something, what is
If he's
it?
buying it for the kids,
Uh-huh,
if he's still buying it. So if he's purchasing it and if he's financing, his name will go on there and he will sign for it. And then he can turn the deed over to his kids. That's multi-step process. Okay? All right, let's go over the addendums.
oh, and.
Buyer fraud.
Or seller.
So quick note on this one, buyer fraud is still present in 2020, 1
I
out of
think this
3
is not
transactions.
here.
I didn't print it, no.
Oh, okay.
So you can just pay attention to the screen and then you'll recognize them. So buyer fraud is something that we have signed with every single client. 8% of the funds in 2020 went to the wrong account, so it's super serious. And only 29% of those funds were recovered, so less than a third. Make sure your seller signed it and your buyer signed it. If you're working on a rental, have them sign the same. And not only sign it, but have them read it and understand that just because you get an email with a bank account, you can't just act on it and transfer your funds to that account. You need to pick up the phone, call your attorney or the title company and confirm those account numbers. Okay,
Sometimes when you rental, they are asking you, you know, the bank, what is like the money, you know, actual money, the checks, bank.
bank check?
Yes.
Yeah, you
They
should
are-
have bank checks for rentals.
For
Yeah,
the more,
100%.
more secure.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Okay, next, owner's confirmation received a written offer. So especially with multiple offer situations, a lot of times
Mhm.
we're not 100% sure if the seller has received our offer. So as a buyer's agent, you can use this form and send it to the seller's agent and say, please have your seller sign off on this form
Oh, okay, make
make sure that
our
you-
reports go
correct,
to the
that our offer was presented. It's a super amazing form. And
Oh,
just understand that we also have an ethics standards of practice for this. This listing agent cannot deny having this form signed. It would be unethical for them.
okay.
If requested, they have to have it completed and signed off by the seller.
You know, sometimes one of time is my sister, one of the see the house and she wants to offer, but agent tell them oh, I'm not give this offer, this is too low for the
They
right
have to
house.
present it, it doesn't matter.
But
Everything that's in writing, they have to present.
even
even if
that
it's
time
too
is
low.
the, you know, the agent doesn't say that this is not, take this offer.
It's not the agent's job to say what the
Yeah,
seller will
that's
take,
not
they have
his-
to present it.
Yes.
They can't just say, a seller told me it's too low. We'll
Oh,
still present it, go through the process,
yeah.
and then have the seller reject it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that time is the market too high
It's possible.
and she's not wanted to headache and.
Yeah, and she doesn't
But
want
it's
to
not
work,
the ethic.
understood, but
It's not-
once you get a contract in a contract form in
Mhm.
writing,
Mhm.
the listing agent's job is to make sure that that contract, no matter what price it is, it gets to the seller and the seller sees that contract. Okay, all right, an addendum regarding solar panels. If the property has a solar panel, clearly you represent the buyer, so you're not gonna know any of this information. But if the seller's agent didn't provide it for you, you're gonna send it to them and make sure they fill it out. We've had a lot of issues with delays with closing on solar panel properties. So all this information must be filled out and.
One
sent
of
to
the
the
I
attorney.
had saw the internet, you know, that if your solar panel don't have a headache, something rental or financial. This is different, the solar, the rental and financial.
It is different.
Yeah.
The
because
solar
is there
panel
anything showing here.
Henry, it's not, but it will ask you if it's leased or purchased.
Uh-huh.
With a leased solar panel, it's a lien on the property. You cannot close on it unless the solar company releases you from that lien.
Uh-huh.
So it's really important to know, if you purchased it, it's a different issue, but you still need to include a contract of what your
Okay.
purchase look like.
Exactly.
Exactly. Perfect. Swimming pools. If the property has a swimming pool, please make sure you fill out this information. So it can be an in-ground pool and above ground swimming pool, or a thaw, a hot tub. I have a hot tub on my property and I found out it's considered a pool when it comes to the town. Well, when it comes to real estate, I had no idea. But, I had to get permits the same way, and if I ever sell the property, it's gonna go on there as a pool available.
That time is the my sister has a swimming pool and they, you know, the diving, diving share.
Right.
Thing is the more insurance,
Yeah.
the more
100%.
and they wanna be make sure to remove and take a pictures for the, and they put them, they take out, what is to say, I don't know, that things, but still has it stuck there, and they not accepted, you know, has to be no, if doesn't have to be sell the pool,
Right.
or house, we don't know, maybe all
Yeah.
the other friends.
Yeah,
maybe know.
the insurance definitely is gonna be higher for more liability.
Yes.
If the property has a swimming pool or a spa or a hot tub, anything like that. My insurance went up too for the safety of that, but it's fine. Here's the form for buyer's waiver of inspection and or appraisal.
Mhm.
If your buyer is waiving home inspection, first of all, it's a lengthy conversation on why would they do that. They should definitely keep an inspection contingency to give them the option to walk away
Mhm.
in case the property needs a lot of repairs. And when it comes to appraisal, the buyer should have the option to stick to the appraised price of the property and not overpay for the property.
Okay.
And as an agent, as a buyer's representative, it's your job to explain that to your buyer and make sure they understand if the property is worth 500, you should not be paying $600,000 because you're overpaying. Unless you're gonna live there 15, 20 years, or you think you'll never move again and you really, really need a house, then it's okay. All right, well, it depends on each situation. FHA and VA loans usually have some kind of addendum from the loan officer, but if you don't, the state provides this one. Just have the buyer seller sign, so they all understand that there's FHA or VA loans. And that is important because additional inspections will be requested at the property.
Oh, okay. I saw that some of them, you know, the listing agent writing the no FHA loan.
You're not allowed to do that.
But the listing,
That's discrimination.
this is what they are putting down the, not the FHA loan.
Can't do that.
But they writing.
I understand. That's when you contact your broker
Uh-huh.
and your broker contacts their broker and let them know that it's discrimination.
Oh, okay. We are not writing.
Absolutely not. You can't do that.
Okay,
You should
okay.
never do that. No.
Okay, okay.
There should not.
How is the problem, they doesn't want the FHA loan?
Because the FHA loan is smaller in the deposit.
No, I know that
5%, and because there's less paint on the property and there's gonna be a lot of repairs requested from the seller.
Oh,
And the
that
seller does
reason.
not want
They
to
don't
do,
want it to.
correct, they don't wanna
something.
deal with all those repairs.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah, it can become difficult, but it's discrimination.
Is it possible seller says that I'm not doing, buyer says, that, okay, she's not, or he's not doing, but I want it. Is possible? FHA loan is it?
They
asking,
will not get a loan. It's not
Oh.
the buyer who's requesting the inspection, it's the mortgage company.
oh, okay.
And if the repairs are not done, they won't get their mortgage.
What they repairing the for the
So for
remove the-
example, if a property has like old windows
Uh-huh.
and there's chip paint all around the windows,
Oh,
all of that has to be scraped and repainted.
Oh, okay,
Windows, doors, anything like that,
okay, not the wall.
not the wall. Well, it
Okay.
depends. If the wall chip is wall paint is coming off, they'll have to do the wall repairs, but everything.
Okay,
They're gonna do a very careful inspection.
okay.
Any paint chip, any paint dust,
Which is the chip paint? The
Like-
Home Depot is the chip
like
paint?
this, see? Like this, if you would see paint on the floor from this area,
Uh-huh.
and if this property was built before 78, that would be a problem right there.
Oh.
It's that little.
Oh.
That
But
means they
it's
would have
not
to-
showing the anything like the damages, it's okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
You know, the old, the nice
Yeah,
painting?
And they will make it, yeah, it would just paint over
Uh-huh.
and it will be perfectly
Oh,
fine.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
understand.
fixable.
Okay, I
Yeah,
understand.
It's just the inspector will come in and they won't get an inspection pass
Okay, okay, okay.
until everything is fixed.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Okay, and cleaned up. New construction, there is a rider for new construction, so if you are selling a property that is brand new, you can include it, although I have not seen it much. I just seen a contract and there's notes in there, it's brand new,
Okay.
it's fine.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is new instructions, is any problem, something not good to electricians,
It
something?
depends on who built the property.
Yeah, because sometimes, they asking the real step, something,
Yeah.
know.
Definitely do a home inspection, even if it's a brand new property.
Oh.
Not every builder is the same. And
Oh,
sometimes, people who think they can build will take on building new properties or completely rehabbing properties without any certification.
okay.
So you want to have a home inspection done carefully. This one is a short sale addendum. If you're selling a property that is a short sale, you must have this addendum filled out
Okay.
and attached to the contract.
Right now is I saw them, one of my friends buying the short sale and the bank doesn't not approve for the sellers, it's okay, and they waiting the bank approve. Is
Correct.
this a long process?
Very long process.
How many months?
How many years?
Years?
Yep.
Oh,
It depends on the bank, it depends on the process, it depends on who's doing what and how much time they have to wait.
Oh,
The short sale I did a couple years ago, probably about 10 years ago, it was almost 3 years until we closed.
oh my God.
Yeah. So.
That time is that house is the empty or the
It was
old
empty.
seller?
It was empty.
Oh,
Just prepare your buyer if they're about to buy a short sale.
uh-huh.
The process can be very lengthy. And do they have the time and money to just sit and wait until everything gets approved?
Okay.
Just take a short sale class and it will give you all the pointers.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
very, very long process.
Short day class is the here or for the Bergen?
The Bergen board has them. I'll run another one.
Okay.
On short sale
Okay.
and foreclosure, so I'm
Okay,
happy to do
Thank
it.
you.
Private sewage disposal, if they have anything like that, there's an addendum for that, just for the disclosure of it.
What is this one? I didn't see
Private
this.
sewage disposal. So if they're not connected to a municipal sewage, they
Uh-huh.
might have something private,
Okay.
and they have to disclose it. Private well testing, super, super important. If the property has a well on the property and they're not getting municipal water,
Uh-huh.
it must be tested before the contract is signed.
How, I am house, I am rental house, but we have a well. If something that house sold, they need to be, but not connected. I don't know the.
Not connected to the house,
Yes.
I would still have the well water tested.
The water test.
100% full disclosure,
Absolutely.
absolutely. If there's a well on any property, it's gotta be tested.
Okay.
There's an addendum for properties with 3 or more units when they're sold. I'm not talking about a 4-family house. I'm talking about maybe a community of homes. Maybe someone's buying 4 properties on a cul-de-sac.
Repeat again. I don't understand.
So it says properties with 3 or more units.
Okay,
If someone's buying units that are together on one contract, just fill this out to alert the attorney they're not only buying one property, but multiple ones. Because there's gonna be multiple deeds attached to their purchase.
this one like the one times buying 3 units?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not common, but it does happen.
You know, that
Just, yeah.
like the 3 townhouse together.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
want to-
Or buy an entire cul-de-sac. You want me to go back? Here you go. Okay. Seller concession. So sometimes the seller will provide the buyer with a closing cost or give them something.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's called a seller's concession to help the buyer purchase the property.
Okay, I saw the one of the internet. The buyer, a seller give the cars.
Yes. I see
Seller
that
create
happen.
something.
Yeah,
a
that would be
house.
on that form.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like
Okay.
a concession. So it could be a closing cost, it could be a car, it could be whatever.
Oh,
And just, it
how
has to
about
be
the
disclosed.
inside, the dining room table?
No, so here's the thing, furniture is personal property, does not belong to real estate. When you
Oh,
sell real estate, we put that on a contract.
okay. How about the sellers? We are putting like the before this side,
Included and excluded,
this side, we
Okay.
put them the,
that becomes part of the real estate.
okay, we put
Okay.
them the,
What if they decide at the end of the day, at the end of closing, to sell the dining room furniture and the barbecue and the outdoor patio set? And they have a list of items with money amount that will go on what's called a bill of sale,
how about
completely separate.
they leave them house? They ask them the
Can
closing
we leave
day.
it?
We living, not wanted.
That's
If
fine.
you
As
want,
long as there's full agreement and it's in writing.
uh-huh,
I'm in that situation right now with a buyer. The seller asked, we'd like to leave the master bedroom furniture and the patio furniture with umbrella chairs and everything. And buyer came back, thank you, we'll take the patio furniture, but not the master bedroom furniture for free.
uh-huh.
They said, okay, so they're leaving the patio furniture, but they're supposed to remove the master bedroom furniture.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and it doesn't get written up other than email conversations and confirmation of what the agreement is.
Is email confirmation is
Yes.
okay?
100%, yeah,
Not the
but they're
written.
not paying for it.
Okay,
Now, if they were to pay for furniture, it's gotta be written up on a bill of sale, not part of the contract,
okay,
separately.
okay.
Okay. Good. Seller's concession, we just discussed, and this is,
What is this?
you can't see the top because it's covered. I think it's
Then
oil
the
tank.
search is the con-
Yeah, it's probably tank on the property, so if there's any tanks on the property,
Mhm.
then it will have to be disclosed on this form and signed by everyone. Here's a really good form to use.
I have
Once
a
you're
question
Yeah.
tag.
about the
If the
tank,
seller doesn't know the before the tank there or something, seller buy but doesn't know, it possible?
oh yeah, it happens all the time.
Oh.
Happens all the time. So when you represent the buyer,
Mhm.
you always tell them, please do a tank search on the property along with the home inspection.
Okay,
Even if the seller, when they purchased, did a tank search.
okay.
We just had a property where we told the buyer to do an oil tank search and the seller said, I already did one when I purchased the property and they found the tank and we removed it. And we told the buyer, please do an oil tank search. Well, guess what happened? They found another oil tank on the
Oh my
property.
God.
Yes, that they didn't find the first time around.
Oh.
There were 2 tanks on the property and they only removed 1.
Oh.
So the seller now is responsible for removing the other oil tank,
Okay.
because if the buyer would have purchased it and they become the seller, it would have been their responsibility. So be very careful, even if the seller has,
I didn't hear the before the
Certificate?
two tank. Is
Oh,
more
yeah.
tank?
it's common.
Common.
That if there's one. that
Because
might
they
be
are
another one.
beverages and they put the second one?
For whatever reason, or maybe they have a 4 or 5 bedroom and one tank was not enough.
Oh.
And they had to add another tank.
Oh, okay,
Maybe they expanded and they needed more.
okay, I understand.
So definitely do that. Virtual showing of a property. This was really, really commonly used during COVID when buyers were not
Oh,
coming in
I
person,
accept it.
remember? So we were just coming with our iPad or with our phone and we were showing the property to the buyer or the tenant. Make sure that they sign off on this form before they come to the property.
Okay,
This gives you some kind of a cushion for liability that what they see on the phone or on the iPad is not 100% of what they'll see when they walk into the property.
they are asking me open the door, open the
Correct,
other
do that.
sentence.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or something corner the, Zoom, they
Yeah.
ask. How about the, the people asking like the California? They want to buy they want to be moved to here. They wanted the vertical showing is
Yeah.
possible?
Have them sign it.
Okay,
Have them sign it before you show it to them. And if they won't sign it, up to you.
okay.
Because this clearly states that they never set foot on the property and they're making a decision without seeing the property.
Okay, perfect. I
Okay,
understand.
it's a good one. Home warranty, even though we no longer have a relationship with America's Preferred or any warranty company, definitely offer home warranty to your buyer. And it's up to them to get more information, call the phone number and take it if they want or not take it. And this is the affiliated buyer agreement. This must be signed with every single contract. So when you have a client, the buyer you're working with, and you're filling out their contract, you'll always attach this form to it.
What is this for name?
This is the buyer affiliated disclosure. A buyer's affiliated business disclosure, sorry. And it has to go with every contract, not with every buyer. It's gotta go with every contract because it's property specific. And this talks about the title insurance and home and auto insurance that we have with Carnegie. So if your client decides to go with Carnegie Title, Home and Auto, they need to fill it out, just so they understand that there might be monetary rewards for the agent. And then if you're in the town of flight office, I have this checklist. If not, I'm happy to give it to you. It's basically a checklist of what forms you need when you're working with a buyer.
Okay.
And then on the second page is the checklist of what you should be working
down.
on. Exactly.
Because a lot of, if you.
It's a lot to do, yeah, 100%, inspection,
Something
mortgage, appraisal, walkthrough, a certificate of occupancy, it's a bunch of things to do. And there's a note there as well to get everything in writing and E&O insurance. If you have the 4 documents
What
that are
is this
needed.
fine, the lead paying?
The left being fine, yes, if your left being disclosure is not completely filled out,
Okay,
the state can fine you up to $11,000 for that
Is
one
it-
form
who is that fine, for the agent or buyer?
for the agent.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we're so
Oh,
neat
yeah.
on the last page form. Each
Because.
missing line is $2,000 in fine. If you have 3 missing initials,
Mhm.
that's $6,000.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
initial.
Yes,
But
everything.
this is all the pages, the initial.
Yeah, not this one, that's just the left page form,
Oh, okay,
not the contract.
oh, okay,
Okay,
okay.
back to the E&O insurance, if you have those 4 documents listed, you don't have to pay E&O deductible, even if you brought up on, charges or questions. So that is the seller's disclosure, even if it's blank. So highly suggested that you have a seller's disclosure, keep it on file. Then a home warranty, whether they purchased or declined to purchase, either one is fine. A home inspection report, if you have the report on file, keep it there. And a contract, a real estate contract drafted by you or by an attorney. Okay? Remember to get everything in writing, everything. If you have a conversation with the buyer about negotiations in the car, when you get home, your buyer asks for accommodation, I'm gonna make an offer at this number, or I'm gonna go back to the seller saying we're requesting the roof repair.
All,
Every single time, you put it in writing.
oh,
Okay, I have some chat questions. What's the name of the contract? It's the real estate contract. Would love the checklist. Nita, I'm gonna put down your email address and I'm gonna send it to you. Hold on 1 second. Thank you so much. I'm writing it down. Anyone else who would love the checklist, let me know. I'm just going to send you an email. It's at the bottom of my email with a lot of links. And actually, you will have more checklists if you'd like to. Thank you, Miguel, and thank you so much, everybody, for attending. Yes, Vital, I will send it to you as well. Does anyone have any questions about filling out the contract?
Yes, I have a question. My name is Luis.
Hi, Louis.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Like today in the crazy market, a lot of real estate agents stress the point of having like a big earnest money. Usually it's like 1%, but I didn't see in the contract where to put the earnest money deposit.
That would be the initial deposit, and we do not take initial deposits.
But like,
Yeah, if you take initial deposit, that will go to the attorney directly. So you would have to contact their attorney first and find out if the attorney will accept the initial deposit. Most of them do not, because it's very difficult to get it released. And if the property, if the contract does not get accepted, both attorneys will have to agree to release that fund back to your buyer, and it takes a very long time, I'll be honest with you. So earnest deposit, as we used to call it, or initial deposit, does not, we don't take it from the buyer. It gets built into the additional deposit, which is due to about 2 weeks after you go on the contract.
but like my question is where you write that in the contract? Like when we wrote the contract, we had to put it somewhere.
Yes, hold on, I'll go back to the contract and I'll show you. Sorry,
let me mind.
is that, put your email address on here? Hold on 1 second, I'll get there. It's at the very beginning, so this is where the contract starts. Here's the terms. Initial deposit would be the earnest deposit that you're talking about.
Okay,
Most of the time it's 0. If you really decide to do it, this is where it would go.
okay,
And on the next page, the very first line, where it says initial deposit 3A, this is where you would fill it out. So you
okay.
can go to the buyer's attorney directly and just put down what date and then the amount they'll have on the other side. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, fantastic, you're welcome. Anyone else? Thank you so much. I'm just writing down all your emails. Thanks so much for coming.
I did very good Zoom meeting this one.
Okay. Is there messages? Hold on. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.